Right, we're back to these. I saw these, I was looking for something else and saw these and I thought they look very nice. I will buy them to see if they're any good. And the reason I bought them is because you might have heard on one of the previous videos that I bought myself an Hornet. I bought an Hornet when they first come out, when they was first released. It was the first RC I bought myself, and I still have it. It's actually hanging from the ceiling up there, looking a bit tired, but then it is, what, 40 years old, so it deserves to be. And I don't really want to use it and wreck it anymore, and I do like throwing these things about because they're great fun and surprisingly hard to break. There's not a lot on them to break, so you can really throw them about quite a bit, and they are so much fun. So I was looking to buy one, a new one. Didn't want to pay the new prices because of everything's gone up so much lately. I think it's disgusting that within less than a year they've gone up about 70 quid, 75 pounds. So I saw this second hand used, supposedly not used very much. Well, going by how much tread is taken off of that tyre, it's been used enough. Not overly used because they're not bald like my one up there is, but it has been used. I don't understand the person that built it. Clearly, well, let's be generous and say probably not built any or many kits before, because I think, I've been at this a long time now, but I think from memory this is the first time I have ever seen a Lexan body that's been painted on the outside, not the inside. As you can see, lovely and shiny on the inside because there's no paint on it. It's been sprayed on the outside for some reason, and not brilliantly. Don't know if you'll pick it up, but it almost looks like brush marks in places. So maybe it was brush painted, not sprayed. It's not the best paint job, but seeing as I just want it to use it and to some degree abuse it, not really abuse it, I'm not going out there to plan to actually mash it up and break it, but it is going to get used. And not just by me, my nephews will be playing with this as well. They'll be throwing it about all over the place, over the park, giving it a good run, and I'm sure they'll be crashing quite a few times. So, but saying that, and about the price, I did find somewhere selling one last week. Funny enough, not a million miles away from here, but because of COVID it's shut, so I had to get it posted anyway. But it was £115 posted, which I was prepared to pay, so I have bought a new one. Whether I build it or not is a different matter. I'm sure at some point in my life it will get built, but whether it gets built straight away is a different matter. Because I have this one, well, no point building another one. Unless I decide to give one each to my nephews, then I might build it. Or I have a grasshopper sitting hanging from the roof as well. So one might get one might get the other. Don't know if they're watching this, they've probably got a big grin on their face at the moment. So let's have a look at it. Right, these wheel adapters, if you're not sure what I was talking about, or you don't know about Hornets, if you've never had an Hornet and you want a buggy or something to muck about with, I can highly recommend these. They're simple to put together, they're just so much fun. The wheels, as I said, are in 3 parts. You can see screwed nuts on the back. You can see the brand bits I was talking about in there. See these bits here, slot into them bits which actually lock it so it won't spin. That's what gives you a drive. Comes with plastic ones, which, to be fair, I've never broke, so, but I just like the look of them, and they look like they'd be a direct replacement. Ooh, that's a bit stiff. So, normal thing, axle with a bar pin through it, that slides on over the pin, and then the wheel would just go on normal, locks in there, which is what gives you a drive. Obviously, if you didn't have that, the axle would just spin on the wheel. I'm putting these back because if I do build the other one, the plan is actually that I will build it with a fair few upgrades, so they will be for that. So this was, I think I paid £80 for this, which, looking at it, ain't bad. Like I say, the tyres, which, to be fair, I'm going to do a lot more damage than what's done to them. This thing with a standard silver can, wheel spins like crazy. There is no weight to it. Right, battery run out, so change the battery and away we go. So yeah, like I was saying, it's in very good condition actually, so probably has sat on the shelf for more than it's been run. A few scuff marks on the bottom of the diff case, which you expect. Battery holder's nice and tight, which can be a problem on these. Not if you fit it properly. Problem is people just slide it in and it comes flying out. You have to make sure it clicks in. But it's got a standard silver can motor, it's got a steering servo, that's about it, which is not a problem. It's easy enough to put a speed controller and an RX in it, and then it's ready to run. To say they're pretty basic, you can't really go wrong with an Hornet. It's spring suspensions on the rear. This get up I could never work out when I first got it, because there's a silly little spring in there, but it works. It's funny when you really accelerate hard, that flies up and it sort of grips in and it works. I've never broke anything on the back of here, and that one up there has had some major use. I will show it to you in a minute. Front suspension again is just springs with a screw through. You can't really get any simpler. So there ain't a lot to go wrong. There's not a lot to break. I watched a video on YouTube a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago. He was testing from the so-called old original buggies that started everything off. Tamiya Hornet, Grasshopper and Frog, because that's the three. So you had the Grasshopper was the cheap one, the Hornet was the middle of the range one, and the Frog was the more expensive one. Better built, apparently, better put together, better built, better materials on the Frog. The Hornet, the Grasshopper, the major difference with the Grasshopper, it comes with a hard plastic body, not a thin Lexan. But for the way these move, this is better because it will take more damage when you're rolling it and that, because it will just give the hard body your crack after a while. The downside to the Grasshopper, it's got a smaller motor in it. You can upgrade it, but it comes with a smaller motor, so obviously not as quick. But apart from that, there's not a great deal of difference setup wise. It's got pretty much the same front suspension, pretty much the same rear suspension. Chassis different, but not by much. Comes with different tyres. Front ones are the same, back ones are more like a sand paddle. They're like grooves that go across, if you know what I mean, rather than these knobbly. Yeah, like I say, apart from that, there's not a lot of difference. Actually, let's grab it and show you. Right, this is my original Hornet. So we are talking in excess of 40 years. It's actually got rust on the springs, it's that old. But as you can see, it's been used, and it's been used a lot. It has been used a fair amount over the years. And yes, this isn't the original body. I think this is probably about the third body this has had over the years. Still got crystal radio in it. That's how old this is. It did originally have the old mechanical speed controller, but it's been changed out a fair few years ago, because even that's old now. You can't even buy them ones anymore. But I just don't want to damage this now. It's got to the point where it's old, and I want to keep it as it is. Hence why I bought the other one. This, like I say, it had the old original mechanical speed controller with a big heat thing, because you can even see where the screws have gone in there, where they're fresh holes, because you wouldn't put anything in there. These have actually had screws through them, because you had the big heat exchanger up the back here, which I can always remember touching once, and you only do it once. There's nothing like that smell of melting skin and you feel it peeling off and leaving behind. It's a unique experience that you would never want to happen again. I'm sure some of you know about that, and if you don't, you're lucky, and you don't want to know, believe me. So that's a Hornet. Let's pop this back and I'll show you the Grasshopper so you can see the difference. And I've actually got a little baby brother of this, which I'll get down and show you as well. Because if I'm going to bore you, I'm going to bore you silly. Right, there's the Grasshopper. As I said, hard plastic body on these. And these bodies screw on. So, not a couple of pins to take them off like the other one. Never really understood with the Hornet why. You don't really need to. I guess it makes it easier to plug the battery in, but it's not essential. Same with this. The plug's sticking through the window, so it's easy enough to feed it up and then poke it back in. Paint scheme on this is white, which I didn't like, so hence the black. Right, so to put them together, as you can see, there's not a great deal of difference between them. They're very, very, well, I was going to say very similar. They're not very similar, they are the same actually. They are pretty much the same chassis. Yeah, they are the same. One and the same thing. Again, crystals, that's how old this one is as well. You will notice, if I can fit them both in, the difference, where are we? Difference in the motors. That's a standard silver can. I'm not sure what size that is, but it's smaller, a lot smaller. But it will take a bigger one if you get the adapter to fit it. So if anything, if you're starting young, you're buying for young, this is probably better because you've got that more little, it's a little bit slower, so easier to control. And then as they get more competent and safer with it, you can upgrade the motor. But I think pound for pound, this is better. The Hornet is just so much fun. As I say, same, pretty much the same chassis. They're not exactly the same. There's a few differences, as I can now see looking at it. There are a couple of differences, but not many. They are very, very similar. Same length, stand the same height. Obviously this has got pins, this ain't, because this, the Hornet fits on with pins, so it's got to have the pegs for the holes where this screws on, so it's different. The suspension is slightly different at the front there. This one doesn't move like the Hornet. There's no twist in it, where this one, like I say, has got that, where's the camera gone? It's got that twist bit at the front here. I guess to allow for the amount of torque in it to take that up rather than just locking up. That is a guess. But so that's another new thing. Right, let's put this away and I'll show you the Hornet's baby brother. Some of you guess what I mean. Some of you might be shocked because I don't think a lot of people know they actually exist. Well, they've probably heard of them but never seen them. Again, for the money, these are brilliant fun. You can't really go wrong. These are, I'm pretty sure they're still under £100 now. I think the last Hornet I built for a friend of mine a few years ago. It took me all of about 2 hours, I think, start to finish. There's not a lot in them. Right, let's get the little baby brother. There is the little baby brother. It's a Tamiya Team Tech. Scale wise, well, you can see it's a lot shorter, a lot smaller. With the wheels it's probably not much thinner. it's great fun. It comes pre-built, ready to run, literally ready to run. I think the only thing you need is batteries for the controller. But it is so much fun to use. It's quite nippy for the size of it. The suspension is actually better on this than it is on this. Team Tech Gear, I believe it is. It's nice. From memory, I think it was even more expensive than the normal Hornet, but then seeing as it comes with everything, it comes ready to run. Like I say, it's pre-built. It comes with a 500 milliamp battery. You can see on the top there, I don't know if you can read that. It is a Team Tech gear. Or Tam-Tech, sorry. Tam-Tech gear. Tamiya NiCad battery, 7.2 volt, 500 milliamps. Fully charged lasts about half hour in it, I guess. Comes with a, well, that one particular one came with a trigger controller, 2-channel, obviously that's all you need. Again, you can see the age of it because it's on crystals. The only thing I think you need is the 8 AA batteries that go in the bottom of it. Bit extortionate, but 8 batteries. I've only got it for nostalgia. Keep it as it's meant to be, or as it came. I can get the bottom back on, that is. Yeah, it's a nice little car. I do believe they make quite a few other cars in that. I know I've seen a Ferrari. Not sure what Ferrari it was, the red one, if that helps. But yeah, I've seen a frog in it as well. They do them. They don't come up very often, I believe, but you find them every now and again. Great fun. But back to this. So we need, might as well do it while it's out. Let's put a speed controller in it. And a receiver. See if we can fire it up and get it going. Apart from the steering being the wrong way, the steering's the right way. Call me an idiot. Battery needs charging, clearly. There ain't a lot of power on that. that'll do. Is this working if nothing else? Sorry, this is a seriously boring video again. But you can look at it the other way. I'm not standing there with a gun against your head telling you to watch it, am I? So, that's the great thing about this. You have a choice. You can watch it. You can enjoy it. You can, what is it they'll say? Hit like, subscribe and the notice bell, or you don't. I don't really give a shit either way. If you want to, you will. If you don't want to, you won't. It makes no difference to me. I make videos for me. If you enjoy it, I'm glad. If you don't, I don't really care. It is that simple. I make the odd one on request, and the last few, can't even speak English now. It's this heat coming from under the table, it's starting to cook my brain, I think. I should really turn that heater down because it is getting a bit, I love it hot, but that is getting a bit too much at the moment, which I will do in a second. Right, so that is going to go right there, I think. What was I saying? Yes, the last few, I'll learn how to speak one day, have been by request of a so-called white bear, because he's a nutter. But most of them are done purely for my benefit, so I like to do videos. Let me explain. I like to do videos, especially if the truck's running. If you ever look at my videos, you'll notice I don't do a lot. It's pretty much just to drive around the garden once or twice. It's mainly a test video. Me testing them after they've been built, or if I've done any work on them. Also, it's something to look back on when I change things. So I can look back at, oh, this is what it used to look like, and this is what it looks like now, or this is how it used to be, and this is how it is now, that sort of thing. But also on some of it, I do as a reference or a reminder of myself that if I want to do on another vehicle, I can look back and jog my memory to how I did it. Because, like I said, I'm getting old. My brain ain't all there now. I do forget things. So it's nice just to have that little look back on. Plus, I've been told a few of you actually enjoy watching them. So there's a bit of bonus for you. But at the end of the day, it is made just for me. I don't understand. I do understand. That's not right. I do understand people that make them for other people. Especially if you're one of these so-called Mr. Bigs in the hobby that do it and you make money out of it and you make a living out of it and all that. If that's what you do, I have no problem with it. Good luck to you. I hope you make millions. Me personally, it's an hobby. Pure and simple. If it then becomes something where, oh, I had to do this because I need to make money, and I would very quickly get fed up with it. I like the fact it's an hobby. One day I don't want to do it, I walk away. All this week, I've not been in the mood. Come home from work, I really can't be bothered to come down this shed and sit here and do this and do that. And I just want to sit indoors and relax, watch a bit of telly. Or, well, don't even do that now because there's so much crap on. I just mainly just listen to music or watch YouTube channels. This is my weekend getaway, if you like. But each to their own. If it's what you want to do and it's how you make a living, good on you. It's just not for me. I do literally do these videos purely for myself. I don't care if anyone watches them. That's not why they're made. It is, don't get me wrong, it's nice that people watch them, and it's nice that people enjoy them. Well, some of you. But it's not why I make them. Same as my trucks, or my cars, or whatever. I make them purely for me. I've had a row with a few people. Oh, that's not how I'd have done it. Well, it's not yours, so it don't matter how you'd have done it. It's mine, and that's how I've done it. Or, no, you should do it a different way. No, I shouldn't. I'm doing it the way I want to do it. It's mine, again. It's mine. I'm paying for it. I'm spending the time on it. Therefore, it's done the way I want to do it. If you really, really insist and want me to do it how you want me to do it, buy it and send it to me. And when I'm bored with something else, I will gladly make it for you. But only when I'm bored and not doing something of my own. And I will do it to your spec because you've paid for it. But until then, it gets done my way, how I want. Because as far as I'm concerned, and this accounts for all of you, not me, everyone, you do it your way because it's yours. You do it how you want it to look or how you want it to be. It's yours. You should never do it to please someone else. Because I personally think if you do, you'll always regret it. Because it's, oh, why did I do it like that? Because he said like that. I wanted it done this way. Then do it how you want. And don't worry about what other people say. They ain't got to look at it, use it, enjoy it. You have. So you do it how you want it, not how someone else wants it. Like I said, it's different if someone else is paying for it or paying you to do it. Then you do it how they want because they're paying you for it. But as long as you're building it for yourself and you're the one paying for it, you do it how you want to do it, not how someone else wants you to do it. Rant over. Let's get on with what we was getting on with. I'm trying to find the screws. Incy little screws. I do have rants every now and again, that's why they call me grumpy, because I am a grumpy sod. But I believe, and I would believe, otherwise I wouldn't do it, that most of them are justified. Probably the odd one ain't, but got to let off some steam somehow occasionally, ain't you? But I'd say most of them are justified. Right, how's that work then? There's no thread in there. Does that unclip and you screw it on and clip it back together? Because if you do, I think that's a crap idea, personally. Especially now I've bloody stuck it there and I ain't got the room to do it. That I think is not a very good idea. Let's have a look. Is it going to come out of there? I'm being gingerly here. I don't want to break the tabs, otherwise I won't get it back in again. Yes, I don't think that's a very clever way of doing things, but there you go. They were cheap, what do you expect? So if that's the case, I don't want them big screws, do I? Nice little screws. Tweezers. This is what tweezers are for. Grabbing hold of little screws, not fiddling about trying to fit things, as I've watched someone do lately on a video. I've watched a few videos over the last few weeks. Some things I would very much agree with. Some things I wouldn't. again, each to their own. But some people are, in my mind, misleading. And I don't think that's a good thing for our hobby. Any hobby. Or any situation. Tell the truth. If people don't like it, it's tough. It's the truth. I don't like people misleading other people. And I've seen a few lately. Well, me and Tim have been watching someone lately, and I wouldn't say he's a bad builder or a bad person, but some of the information he's giving I believe to be wrong and misleading, and to a certain degree on some of it could even put people off the hobby. And I can't see the point of you being in an hobby you want to put people off of. To me, it should be the other way around, surely. You're in an hobby because you enjoy it, therefore you should encourage other people to do it, not vice versa. But again, each to their own. It's not my place to say, it's down to the viewer. If you agree with them, you'll watch them. If you don't, you won't. It's as simple as that. It's just, sometimes it makes me cringe that you watch these people and you think you're giving really bad information, or you're telling them to do it not necessarily a wrong way, because I'm a firm believer, I don't believe there's a right and a wrong way. If it works, it works. It can't be a wrong way if it works. There's your way, there's someone else's way, there's no right way or wrong way. If it don't work and it breaks or whatever, then clearly that's a wrong way. It just annoys me with they give certain information and it's misleading, as I say. It's not necessarily right or wrong, but it's misleading. Or they tell you to buy things. Little hint, you do not need certain tools for this job. Well, not this job, this hobby, let's say. It's any of you that know me, or know of me, do know I haven't been doing this for 5 minutes. I've been at it for quite a while. And hopefully I'll be at it for quite a while longer. But you can tell by how many tools I think you need by what's on my desk, because that's pretty much the tools I use all the time. So I have a decent little magnetised small Phillips head screwdriver, but it's interchangeable, so I can change it for something else if I wanted to, but that's pretty much the one that stays in there all the time. I have a small flathead screwdriver, which, if I'm honest, I pretty much use for poking more than I do for screwing. That sounds rude. I have a Posse number 2 screwdriver, my favourite screwdriver. This is built, I would like to say, this has probably had a part in building every truck I have. As you can see, the handle's well worn out because it's had so much use. But this has had some part, one way or another, in building, I'd say, everything I've built for the last, let's say, 15 years. It's probably longer, it's probably nearer 20. So that's probably about how old this screwdriver is. It's a number 2 Posse screwdriver. But you listen to certain people and you need this specialist screwdriver, you need this specialist spanner, this specialist this specialist that. You don't. I watched a video the other day where he was waffling on about certain head screws that Japan use. And my thought straight away was, if that's the case, why do you not get them in a Tamiya toolkit? Tamiya RC toolkit, made and designed to build all Tamiya kits. Well, that is a Phillips screwdriver, not an SP, SF, SD, S this, S that, that's anything else. It's a Phillips number 2 screwdriver. That is a Phillips number 3 screwdriver. That is a nut spinner, 7mm. That is a 5.5 nut spinner. Allen key, Allen key, Allen key, flatted. That's it. You could pretty much build any Tamiya remote control kit with that. You need nothing more. I would suggest a nice pair of thin nose pliers, because sometimes it's a bit tight getting in. You always get Tamiya box spanner, which is very handy to use. I have a couple of these, believe it or not. I love a pair of tweezers. Like I say, it's nice for picking up small parts. That's all I use them for, because when I'm building, I pour the packets into paint lids or little containers just to make it easier. And sometimes it's easier, you want to grab 1, 2, 3 screws to just grab them with the tweezers rather than trying to get your big fat fingers in there, especially if they're mixed, because you don't always grab the one you want. So I like tweezers for that. Sharp knife. I use a scalpel. You ain't got to use a scalpel. I also use a bulk standard Stanley blade sometimes, because again, that's all you really need. These people waffle on, you need this, you need that, you need, sometimes I feel like just want to give them a slap and say, you don't need these tools. Why are you telling people to have to spend all this money on all these specialist tools? This isn't cheap. I'm not going to lie to you. Look it up, you'll see. When I bought this, it was about £20, I think. They're now 35-ish, which, like every other Tamiya, is a rip-off at the moment. It's just their rip-off Britain. If you're in Britain and you want anything that says Tamiya on it, you're going to get ripped off. It's as simple as that. It's how it is at the moment. But even if you take that out of the equation, the tools I have on my desk is that. I could pretty much guarantee you I could build any kit you give me with that. The only exception, I would want a pair of thin nose pliers, and I could manage to build anything. You don't need special screwdrivers, you don't need special spanners, special this, special that, special anything. That will do the job. So please, 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 please do not listen to these people that say you need to spend money on this and you need to spend money on that. You don't. Spend the money where it matters on this. Upgrade things on here. You don't need to upgrade your tools. Basic tools. That's it. Basic tools. Like I say, I've had these 2 screwdrivers for nigh on 20 years. They still get used every day, as you can see here. You don't need all this flash crap. You're doing a screwdriver up most of the time, a self-tapper into plastic, or a machine screw into a thread that's pre-cut, or a nut. And we're talking 2mm, 3mm. It's not like you're going under a lot of torque or pressure on any of them. They're bloody tiny little screws. You do them up by hand. You don't need nothing special. If you go to different kits, then I can't really answer for that, because pretty much all mine are Tamiya HH. The only special thing you need is something done in your head, because let's face it, they're just crap. And yes, I have got a few, so I do know what I'm talking about. All you people out there that, oh, they're just as good as quality as Tamiya. You obviously ain't built both. Or there's something wrong with them, because they're not just as good as Tamiya. The quality ain't there. The material is not as good. Get a pair of chassis rails from an HH trailer and a Tamiya trailer. Tell me they're as good a quality. Actually, I have a pair of chassis rails up there. I have two pair of chassis rails up there. One from an HH 6x4 and one from a Tamiya 6x4. I don't know if it will show up on camera, but you should be able to see I don't know if you'll be able to see that. You should be able to pick up the difference in the thickness of metal. So how can you say they're the same quality when the HH one is so much thinner than the Tamiya one? Unless it's made of some special alloy that's so strong, it's, to me it's just aluminium. That's not aluminum, that's aluminium. Right, HH is 1.33 mil. Tamiya, if I ain't got a pair that are taped together, is 1.6 mil. So I know it's only 0.3 of a mil, but that is at least an extra turn of thread on a screw. And when you're talking at these tolerances, that extra turn can mean the difference between that holding or it stripping the thread and the screw coming out. And that's on a 6x4 chassis. If you go onto a trailer chassis, it's even more thinner. Again, if you want HH, buy HH. It's your money, you spend it on what you like, you do what you like. As I've said, I've got HH kits in here. You get what you pay for. It annoys me when these people, oh, they're just as good as Tamiya. They're not just as good as Tamiya. They're not even close in some respects. Right, that's done. That's ready for a test run when the builders piss off. So, I get a battery charged. We might do that later or tomorrow. Give that a little run around, see how that goes. What was I talking about? Oh, toolkits, tools. Right, the only one I would say, and I have recommended these, so I don't really recommend a lot, but I have recommended King Kong RC. I have two of their trucks over there. If and when I buy another truck, I'm pretty much certain it will be another King Kong RC, probably well before it's a Tamiya one, and definitely well before it's an HH one. Because price, basically. Pound for pound, they are better quality than anything I've made. And I'm a staunch, lifelong Tamiya fan. I've been a Tamiya fan since I was 15. That's 40 years. to me, the two King Kong RCs I've built, and this battery's going to run out. So I think we're in the video here, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.